You know what the problem that a lot of people have is that a lot of people they've been cheated on. And so they're still competing with a relationship that they were cheated on from years ago. That's what we talked about in our podcast. A lot of people are literally still competing for or competing with someone cheating on them from years ago. Let me talk about that. In the last relationship that you were cheated on, you asked the person, why did they cheat on you? What was the issue? And they came and told you you didn't give them enough sex. You weren't nice. You really wasn't cooking. You needed to do more. And so now every relationship thereafter, you have a new addiction. You're looking for new heightened attention. And so you thinking that if I give this person more sex, if I'm nicer to this person, if I cook for this person, maybe that won't happen to me again. Baby, no, no. You have to be who you are. And in operating in who you are, you'll attract the person that you're supposed to attract. But the problem that a lot of y'all are having is that a lot of y'all are out here performing instead of being who you were created to be. Yeah, because we out here wondering about who's going to be loyal to us, who's going to be committed. Baby, I'm telling you straight up, a lot of people's commitment is only as good as your flaw. Because in a lot of people that you date, a lot of people that you're in connection with, a lot of people that you hang out with, a lot of people that you converse with on the phone and text and so on and so forth, their commitment to you is only as good as how they envision you, their perception of you, their imagination of you. But when your flaws begin to come out and who you are not begins to come out, they switch up, they act out, they have misplaced commitment. And the problem that we have is that we fall prey to it. I never forget, I had a good buddy of mine, RIP. He was married and he liked skinny women. His wife it was super amazing. She was a model and she was like a size 2 or size 1. She gave him 4 kids, but he had fantasies of skinny women. So that person that was a size 2 went up to be like a size 10 or 12, and he didn't like it. He didn't want to be with her no more. He didn't even want to sleep in the same bed with her anymore. She gave him 4 kids, and was the perfect wife, but his commitment was only as good as the flaws, the stretch marks. Once the stretch marks came, he had an issue with it. Once the heaviness and the weight ticked up, he didn't want to be bothered. And so she's all stressed out. She's losing her mind because what she thought he was committed to really wasn't the commitment. And how many of us try to be performing? We act out of guilt. We overcompensate on the outside, but we're lacking on the inside. And so she has a pouch. She hires a trainer. The trainer has her doing 1,000,000 sit-ups. She does this master cleanse, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with the master cleanse. She goes and she gets this cayenne pepper and she gets water and lemon and apple cider vinegar, and that's all she drinks for 5 days straight to lose the weight. But she couldn't get rid of the pouch. She goes to the doctors. Doctors examine her. Doctor tells her, because of your C-section, you don't have any elasticity around your stomach, so you could do 1,000,000 sit-ups and you'll forever have a pouch unless you get the surgery, a tummy tuck. She was adamantly opposed to it, and therefore he stepped out. So in her mind, she began to perform. I am saying to each and every one of you, how many of y'all have been carrying that around? You've allowed somebody to become an emotional squatter in your mind. You've allowed somebody to become a mental squatter in your mind, so much so that when you go into each relationship, you don't want to get that, you don't want to be cheated on, you don't want to be hurt, you don't want to have the same results of the last relationship, so you become an actor. You become a performer. May I suggest that whatever somebody said about you that's been living rent free in your mind, that you release it, that you stop being so concerned about how everybody else feels about you or their happiness towards you. You have to be happy and be committed to yourself. Because what happens is that in that commitment, you'll be better prepared. You'll be happier with yourself. You'll know your limitations. You'll know your boundaries. You'll know your happiness. But when you are trying to please everybody else, there's never a stoppage. There's no limits to trying to be a people pleaser. The only thing that's being damaged is who You are, baby. You have to stop focusing on trying to make everybody else happy. I'm telling you, you have to release everything that was said about you. You have to release everything, all of the criticism that somebody told you. You have to release all of the damage that has been done. Get rid of all of that. They said you weren't enough. Baby, you may have been too much for them. They said you ain't bring nothing to the table. They brought everything to the table. Yeah, they had a small table. They said that you lack. No, you just had too much for them. You offer too much. Yeah, I never forget, and I'm closing. I never forget. I was in this relationship, and when I was in this relationship, everything was going wonderful. I'm talking about everything was perfect as long as I had money. My job closed down, and I lack money. I was in transition. I had to get some unemployment, so on and so forth. And she started breaking up with me. She started messing around and so on and so forth. And she said to me, "Ain't nobody gonna want you because you ain't got no money because you broke." And ultimately, I lost everything. I lost everything to the degree that carried so much weight. And then my cousin tried to hook me up with somebody, and this particular person that with whom he tried to hook me up with was in a relationship for 5 years and only went out 4 times with her boyfriend. The second conversation she has with me is, "When we going out?" I told her I can't afford to take her out. I said, "We can go, I can borrow some money," because Applebee's had 2 for $20 at the time. And she was like, "I'm not going to Applebee's. I want to go to Ruth Chris." I handed Ruth Chris money. She was in this relationship. The boyfriend never took her out. She said to me, "Call me when you get some Ruth Chris money." And she hung up. And I equated with that particular instance with my previous relationship. And I carry that weight, thinking nobody wanted me. I want to release you today, that you stop making everybody else happy, that you focus solely on becoming a better you, that you solely are become committed to becoming a better you, that you are stop competing with your past hurts. I release you. No longer do you carry that